Hello everybody, it's TMOG 217. Welcome to a LEGO Star Wars set review. Take a look at set number 75362, Ahsoka Tano's T-6 Jedi Shuttle. This set that released officially on September 1st of 2023 contains 601 pieces, I guess, and 4 minifigures. So starting out this video, we're going to have a look at the T-6 Shuttle build itself. It's very scaled down. LEGO tends to like doing these scaled down builds, and normally they're okay, but this one I'm a little sketchy of because of just the size of it. Yeah, sure, they capture the looks and everything perfectly, but let me show you where my immersion breaks for this build. Now, it's been about 12 years since we got the last T-6 Jedi Shuttle, and thankfully I do have that to give you guys a size comparison of sorts, and you guys can see just how much smaller this thing is in comparison. Like, it's much tinier, and it really does show. Like, this, you couldn't even argue is minifigure scale anymore. It's just that much smaller, unfortunately. I don't know, maybe the camera doesn't do this justice enough when I say that this is smaller, but believe me, this thing's much bigger, despite probably having less pieces. So, anywho, moving back to the main build, I guess. It does have some nice details, I guess. There are not a lot of stickers. I think there's like, what, 6-ish? Yeah, there's 6 stickers on this set. You have 2 stickers, one on each side right there, as well as for the side detailing right on the panels there, as well as you have a sticker on each wing. Overall, dark red is really nice. However, I can't really agree with the light blue and dark bluish gray colors that are used in this. Sure, I guess you could say in some lighting in the show, this is accurate, but I think white would have done it so much more justice. It would have made that dark red pop rather than it blending a little too well with the dark bluish gray. You do get a printed cockpit piece, which is nice. You can flip that out. You can see the interior, which you can fit a singular minifigure. My normal go-to choice to have in this vehicle is Huang. Unfortunately, you can't fit him in there, so he's just kind of have to be a little loose. So you can only fit Ahsoka or Sabine in there, which I guess makes sense if you want to have Ahsoka piloting her T-6 Jedi Shuttle, which I guess makes sense if you want Ahsoka piloting her T-6 Jedi Shuttle. Just fits the one minifigure, whereas the old one fit more, but whatever, it's a scaled down version. Haven't gotten one in 12 years, whatever. Flipping onto the bottom, you can see that there's some landing gear. These things don't like to stay in place, even though they're clip pieces. I've had issues where they just get split and whatever, and the thing is, you really need them to be facing forward, otherwise this thing will tip over, shown like right there, and it's a pain. It's really a pain. I would even just say, once you put it on the shelf, just leave it there. It's also kind of weird, you can really easily spin this around. Maybe I assemble this weird, or it's just a weird imbalance somewhere. Anywho, you can flip these back, the landing gear all the way back, and you can flip the wings, which are very loose. Again, in comparison to the old one, where it actually felt like you had to push it. You know, it wasn't very loosey-goosey compared to this one where you pick it up and it's very loose. But anywho, as you guys can see, turning the wings sideways, you can get that iconic look where you can swoosh it around and all that fun stuff. Unfortunately, again, on the backside, it shows more of its issues because they didn't bother doing the backside at all, which, again, the old one kind of tried, at least. I keep comparing it to the old one, but it's so easy to, I find. Get all the little knick-knack details of the thrusters and the bubble turret at the back there, which is nice. You can kind of position the little turrets up and down, but yeah, I don't know. The only other play feature with this is that you have some stud shooters at the front, which you can press down to shoot out. You do get a bunch of extra studs that you can use if you happen to lose any of these studs. Anywho, you do have these little flaps that can open up, and this section right here is meant to be for like lightsaber and blaster storage, so I like me some weapon storage. But removing this gives you a better look at the interior for how that goes about. You can fit both of Ahsoka's lightsabers in there. maybe room to shove in the third, but I wouldn't test it. And then you can fit the blaster in here as well, and that just kind of goes snug in there. And that just, yeah. Again, just remove that so you guys can see that quicker, easier, but yeah. That's the one side. The other side is a little bit puzzling as to what it's meant to be. You can't really fit a minifigure in this, even though you really wish you could. Like, there's a whole bed-looking section right there, but no, you can't fit a minifigure, unfortunately. It sucks, but you do get this weird crate thing with a translucent stud. Don't know what that represents, as well as a wrench for Huang, and that just sits on a jumper right there. I find that this is just good for if you want to store Sabine's helmet, if you don't want to store Sabine Wren with her equipped with her helmet. But yeah, that pretty much goes over that. Let's have a closer look at the minifigures, since not really much else to comment on regarding this build. So, taking a look at the first two minifigures included in this set, you have Ahsoka Tano and Sabine Wren. I really like the Ahsoka minifigure. I don't think that they could have really changed much for it. It's pretty good for Lego's standards for peak quality, I want to say. You do get two lightsabers for her with translucent bar pieces to make up her white clear lightsabers. She does even sport some arm printing, which adds to the detail. The orange printing on the back of her torso, however, does feel a little off to me. It doesn't really show come across as orange quite as well as it should. The headpiece, or the hair Torgata tail piece, is rubberized, so there is a chance, if you own this copy, that it could the ink for like the details could rub away over time, so I could end up possibly seeing this piece being quite valuable in the future. Ahsoka does have a double-sided facial expression, which I do believe is exclusive just to her minifigure. It does look pretty similar to a Clone Wars variant at the very least, but still a very cool minifigure. But moving on to Sabine, though, I wish this minifigure had more detail for it. Like, yeah, sure, you got some chrome printing to make up her armor pieces, but this figure really would have benefited from having some arm printing, because it was a highlight in the show for her shoulder pad pieces and whatnot, and just overall adds to the look, because, you know, it just looks like a brown suit with maybe some chrome on it, which is not at all what Sabine's outfit is at all. Arm printing would have gone a long way. That's really what I'm getting at. She does have two blasters, which you can choose to hold in both of her hands, but she also does come with Ezra's lightsaber, which I guess is her lightsaber now, which she can hold in her hands. So you can have what I got going on, which is one blaster, one lightsaber, unique Mandalorian fighting style. I do like that they included her hairpiece as well as her Mandalorian helmet, so you get even more options for how you want to display this. And just with the helmet on, oh, it sticks out like a sore thumb to me how much this could have benefited from arm printing. I'm sorry, I'll leave it be, but like, you guys see what I'm talking about, right? Like, that just doesn't look the best. But Mandalorian helmet looks great. Like, a dark gunmetal gray coloring with some metallic chrome on it. That looks great overall, and definitely accurate to the show, I would think. Anywho, new facial print that is exclusive just to her minifigure currently, I believe. And yeah, pretty cool stuff. Not much else to say about these two figures, however, so let's just have a look at the next two. For the last two minifigures, we have Marok and Professor Huang. I think these are great inclusions for this set. Mainly, at first, you know, like, I get it, Marok was combating Ahsoka for a good bit in the show there, but if I'm being honest, I kind of wish Marok wasn't included in this set, but was included in the E-Wing 2-pack, and then instead of him, we got Morgan Elsbeth in his place, because Ahsoka and Morgan Elsbeth do tend to have a little bit more history. Maybe including her would have made a bit more sense to me, but hey, Marok was a popular character, and I get it. You know, it's a good marketing point for that, for sales. But still, after seeing this show and all that, I do think Morgan Elsbeth was a better minifigure candidate for Marok's minifigure slot. That's just 2 cents I want to drop in there of an opinion, but anywho, he does have the Inquisitor lightsaber blade, hilt I should say, which is pretty cool. to get for the first time for me. And the thing is, if you want, you can remove the blades, for those who don't know, and you can attach it to the back with this clip attachment, as shown like mainly in Star Wars Rebels with the Inquisitors, or I guess with him. I think there's a scene or two where he has it on his back, which is all right. I also do like the rustic details. It kind of foreshadows who he is in the show to some degree, but also keeps it subtle. It's all right. There is nothing underneath his very unique helmet mold, which, again, makes sense. But removing that attachment with the shoulder pads, you can get a bit more of the front and back torso printing. Just overall gives you a better idea of how the minifigure looks. Especially, you could even display this figure without it, I guess, if you really want to. And that's how that would look. But yeah, going to Professor Hugh Wang, exclusive minifigure. At first, I didn't like the tan look to him, but as the show and time went on, the tan kind of grew on me. So I'm actually fine with it overall. I do like the unique head mold. I do wish to some degree that it was a little more posable because I don't know what I'm looking for, but just it doesn't feel droidy. This figure doesn't feel droid-like to some degree. Like, I get the printing and all that, and it's the logical choice, but just something about it just doesn't feel like it perfectly captures him. I don't know what. There's just something off about him. I don't know. Anyway, he does have an exclusive printed 1x1 tile to represent his backpack, and you can see those little arm attachments he has that he did with the training lightsabers, or just to help him around his little factory thing for the lightsabers with the parts. Sorry, not factory, little parts thing with the lightsaber pieces and all that. And removing that neck attachment, I guess, if you're curious, you can see a bit more of that back torso printing, and that definitely reminds me of C-3PO, just with all that exposed wiring. Anywho, not much else to say about these two minifigures. Let's move on to what else is included with this set. Having a look at the instructions, they're very weird. You get these tall instructions that honestly feel like it would come in a $200 set, not a $100-ish set. You do have a QR code if you want to build the set digitally, as well as it doubles as giving you 20 LEGO VIP points if you're the first to scan it for when you open the set. But yeah, pretty straightforward building instructions. Again, for the size of this build, this does feel like the instructions were enlarged for no reason whatsoever, which is weird. You do have Ahsoka Tano as the progress bar, which makes sense, and as it should be. But yeah, these instructions just feel way too large and are kind of a waste of paper, in my opinion. But anywho, flipping all the way to the back, you can see the completed model with the stud shooters, a little weapon storage thing, and whatever else that other thing is, as well as advertisements for other LEGO Star Wars / LEGO Ahsoka themed Star Wars sets that were released around September. And then you just have a parts listing, and then a win at the back. As for the extra parts, this is all that I received in my copy of this set. Overall, for $100 Canadian LEGO set, I want to like this. I really do. The minifigure selection is pretty decent, with some nitpicks on the second main figure you're buying this set for. The scaling is what really hurts this set, I feel. Like, it's just too small. Like, I get they're trying to work on a budget with making these downscaled ships, but this is something that would have really benefited from being a little bit bigger. Just even, like, throw an extra $50 on it, make it, like, a bit bigger. It definitely would have benefited, I feel. Because this is just too tiny, especially if you're someone who has the original 2011 version. You're more likely to just feel like, oh, I'll buy it, display it, but I'm not really going to play with this. I'd much rather play with the 2011 one, which kind of sucks, honestly, with how much detail is in this. Like, there's obviously some love put into this, but just not enough for me to feel like I want to warrant the price for this. It's something, again, that really should have been upscaled. The size of it does hurt the overall value for me. It just doesn't feel as nice. I don't know. Those are just more or less my simplified thoughts in a nutshell for you guys. I guess I'll call the video here. If you guys did enjoy this review, please let me know your guys' thoughts on this set down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this set, especially the minifigures. Yeah, like and subscribe. I'll catch y'all in the future video. Until then, I'll catch y'all later. Bye-bye.